I oh well. Yeah, so that was weird. It was like blinking the 0 like 5 times before it actually started.
Nice.
Okay. Well,
It's a
welcome to
countdown.
the Get Offset. Yeah, it was a countdown. Welcome to the Get Offset podcast. My name is Emily.
And my name is Andrew.
And it's just us today on, I guess this one's actually coming out on June 1st. I lied to Andy last week and I felt pretty bad about it. I know. I just filthy liar. Liar. What's that song? You know that I am a liar.
Don't know it.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so I think we'll take a couple seconds at the top to please request that you like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review and a rating of 5 stars. I just always forget to do that at the top. I'm like at the end and then people already tuned out.
Right. Yeah, no, so last week when we were talking about that, Melissa, our bedroom's on the other side of this wall, and she was waking up and she heard it and she's like, I wonder what the reviews are. And so I get out and she's like, wow, there's like a couple people that don't like you guys. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I read your iTunes reviews. And I'm like, and then she just kind of stared at me but most of them are really good. I'm really proud of you guys.
Yeah, there's some negative reviews. That's part of the road to success, because if you only have positive reviews, it probably means that only your friends are reviewing.
Yep.
So the negative reviews means that you're getting out there.
The friends, family members, and fools. 3 Fs.
Yeah. So I know viral on TikTok is definitely a bigger number than I'm like pulling right now. But one of my videos, the video of me being pooped on by a bird last night on my patio, because I have a security Nest Cam on my patio. So afterwards, I was like, I wonder if that captured it, and sure enough, it did. I woke up and it had 125,000 views at like 7:30, and it's 2 hours later, and it's 138,000 views.
You're famous.
Someone was like, why were you filming? And I'm like, because I have a security camera. It's just like, why are most things like this captured?
All right, here's the thing, Mr. Bird. We're going to pay you like 5 breadcrumbs, and you're going to fly up there. When you see the red blinky light, I want you to shit.
It's the scripted. Yeah. It's the scripted TikToks. Yeah. This is one of them.
Right.
The funniest thing is it was my neighbor and his girlfriend across, and they're older, and just like the looks on their face, they were like, like, and I'm just like, I just got shit on by a squirrel, no, a bird. I was like, Rick, can you get me a towel and some scratchers?
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Really? Again?
It was those damn crows. It's crow season.
Oh, was it a crow?
Yeah, that's why it was so much fucking shit. Sorry, Mom. Like, wow, okay. I might have to bleep one of those, but I won't. Screw it. But
well, other than that, what's new with you? And I guess, did you win anything on the scratchers?
He didn't go out and get me scratchers like I asked, because he didn't go out. I got this.
Oh,
it's the Chrissy Hynde signature Telecaster.
That is flashy.
It is. I like it. Yeah, it's very shiny. Yeah, it's nice. I'm enjoying playing it. There's something going on with the nut. I think it may be slotted too wide or something, because it buzzes. And if I apply downward pressure, it still buzzes. A little bit, but not as much. Actually, that basically solves it. If I apply any sideways pressure, it stops.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the answer there is just get bigger strings.
Yeah, I'm not wild about these. You think the nut was slot too wide or too deep?
Well, deep it wouldn't necessarily buzz. Well,
It would buzz if it was hitting the first string, but if I fret
the third
on the third fret and pluck behind it, it doesn't buzz.
Yeah, so it's not too deep then.
It's too wide.
I could see too wide.
Or just not. Yeah, I'm thinking that I don't know if I'm sorry. These have locking tuners, and whoever put strings on this did not do the A string in the correct way. That's really odd.
Oh.
I don't know if it's going to show, but.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, isn't that?
Huh. So we're just staring at the screen here. If you're listening, the A string is wrapped around like a time and a half, looks like, but it's a locking tuner. You're supposed to like pull it through, clamp it shut, trim, and then turn like a quarter to a half to get it up to tension. Not like a time and a half. That's super strange. I wonder. And that's not even like if something slipped. Like that's just they didn't pull it tight enough before they snipped.
Yeah. Someone said a little super glue in the nut would help if it was cut wrong. But maybe I will just try 10s because I think it ships with 9s.
Yeah, I usually play 9s on my Fender scales. I like it.
That's what they ship
kind of
with.
Slinky.
Slinky, huh?
Slinky. My fingers are so weak. I can't bend on 10s, man. Like, just so hard.
Well, then you just need to exercise more.
I'm half kidding.
Exercise them fingers.
I think I need to play
Get
more.
one of those weird little grippy things that they advertise to build up finger strength. It's like a stress ball, but like, yeah. I actually did have one of those. I used it as like a fidget tool.
I used to keep one of those behind the counter when I worked at Guitar Center because you could still do it while it was on the packaging. And if we were really down to the last one, I'd sell it. There's usually like 10 on the shelf anyway, so I just sit behind the counter and squeegee on it.
I probably still have one. And like I have a little, when I was in high school, I kept a lot of my guitar tools in a little pencil box.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to college. And so now it's like, I still have the box, but I've never really taken anything out of it. It's like a relic. Yeah.
Nice.
I gotta find that thing. Yeah. So that was the big thing. I also have this White Whale little pedal amp.
Oh.
It's actually a little amplifier.
Yeah.
Or you can hook it up to a speaker. So I'm going to have some fun with this and the Cab Zeus Mono this weekend probably.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is Bookworm Effects White Whale is what this is. So
I like the art
for those
on that.
listening. Yes. Oh, and for people who didn't know what guitar I was holding, did I mention it was the Chrissie Hynde Signature Telecaster?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You did. It's signature. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. I really like the I also had, and I just released a demo of it this past week, the Ernie Ball Music Man Stingray RS.
Yep.
It's like a $2,400 guitar, but damn, it feels like a $2,400 guitar, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It felt luxurious compared to like the Squiers and stuff I play a lot.
Yeah, the higher end Ernie Ball stuff I have an affinity for. Honestly, the best P bass in my life I played was like their Ernie Ball Cutlass, I think is the model that they for like their P bass rip. And I don't know if it was it had a compensated net on it, but something about the way the pickup sounded was just so fat.
The pickup sounded really good, clean, which is something that you don't get in like the budget guitars that I do a lot of demos for. So it's really, really nice to have something that sounded that good, clean. Like the Supersonic didn't sound very good, clean, and the Tornado from last year's Paranormal series. Mm-hmm. I don't think a lot of people are playing those clean. No,
that's something you grab. You grab your nastiest fuzz and.
Yeah.
Let's rock.
How about you, dude? What's new? What's new with you?
What's new with me?
Other than that shirt.
Oh yeah, it's a 3-day weekend. This is my only like party shirt.
Your only one? That's sad.
Yeah. How often do I need to party? This is the I want to get away in my mind for a weekend shirt. It's just a
If you like pina coladas shirt.
Yep.
Andrew's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Friends.
It's got shades of like red and blue and like a darker blue. And I think that's gray.
And pink.
Shades of red. No, it's definitely pink. So no, it's just like, I don't honestly remember where I got it. I think it was a gift. It's super comfortable though. So
yeah, you should look into those Roosevelt shirts. My brother has done some designs for them.
I usually start the day with all of the buttons and then progressively
slowly unbutton.
It wouldn't be the first time that's happened, at least in my own home. Not outside of the home, but my own home. I have the right to feel comfortable.
Yeah. It's like at the end of the day, you unbutton that top button on your pants.
Yep.
After a big meal.
Or the end of Thanksgiving meal.
Oh, yeah.
But in all seriousness, this room is... Here, let me unplug this.
Oh, what had you been playing? Oh, Andrew's been playing the Walrus R1, their reverb pedal, their stereo reverb pedal.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of a deep dive with it last night. I was having some fun. I was playing Connect 4.
What'd you think of the first 3 settings? Because those are the ones that people are not always loving.
I like the plate the best of the 3.
Yeah.
Spring.
I liked the spring okay if you don't need something that drips.
Spring was okay. My thing is if spring's either got to do 2 things for me. One, it's got to do like a spring, like a classic spring really, really well. And for me, I really like Fender, typically whatever you hear like in a Fender amp. Those springs sound so good. It's just that quintessential spring reverb sound in my head. Or it's got to do spring with a twist. And I feel like this one kind of sat in between and didn't quite do it for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think my benchmark
I think most
for
people would be
spring
happy enough with it, but for $400, maybe not.
Well, so I'm not going to buy a $400 pedal to do what my amp already does. So I'm not really.
That's a good point.
I'm not bent out of shape about like it at all.
I also don't like using hall reverb in general unless I'm recording.
Yeah. Yep. No, hall's boring to me. I do like plate. I think the plate sounded really good. What I kind of want to do for my own curiosity is pit it against the plate in the Avalanche run, which has way less tweakable settings, but it's just one of those just sounds great no matter how you set it kind of reverbs.
I like that you could tweak the frequency of the plate on the R1 because I feel like plate can be a little shrill sometimes, especially, digital plate, which is 89% of the time, unless you're in an actual studio, that's what you're getting. Also,
for anyone wondering how I decide if I like a spring reverb, it's very simple. And it's what every Guitar Center employee hates. I play the opening lick to Yellow Ledbetter. And just the and like choking, just hear that spring ring out.
Yeah.
It's such a fun lick to play, and there's just enough of those like good like snap breaks to let the reverb kind of hang out. It just doesn't sound right without it. And the reverb is such a quintessential part of that riff that if it sounds good, it sounds good. And if it doesn't, I go, we'll try another algorithm. But I really like the last 3. The BFR was this one, the Refract and the Air. I actually think I
liked Refract the best. That was my favorite.
I think I liked the Air the best, although Refract was fun.
The Air's that was interesting. It wasn't for me, but I know Ann Silikowski, that was I think her favorite, and I can get that.
I flipped on the Air. I'm like, I feel like I'm like playing like an atmospheric background for a inspirational Instagram video.
Damn. I can't tell if that's a compliment.
It was fun. I definitely haven't played an algorithm that sounds quite like that yet. So no, it was fun. Refract is pretty trippy. Playing around with like the frequency of the I guess the glitch. I don't know how to describe it. It was just kind of glitching out.
I would describe it as a glitch, yeah.
I think it was fun, but what was throwing me is when I flip up the swell feature, which I was having a lot of fun with as well.
I bet.
Like here, like there's no attack, but then there's the attack with the refracting. And so I go like play like a long swell, like great, and then like break it up with like some random attack punctures in the middle of this atmospheric swell. Okay. Maybe that's not the best algorithm for that. It just really threw me. It was still super
I didn't
cool.
mess with the swell a lot because it's not really my thing.
It was fun. I questioned dedicating an entire knob to it because it was kind of it didn't sound great at like 10%. It was either completely off or like past the 50% and dial it in a little bit for it to sound right. Otherwise,
that's fair.
So, but the tracking on the swell knob was impressive. I'm not going to lie. As long as there was even without like a distinct break between notes, it was still auto swelling that. So
that wasn't my experience with it. My experience was that it didn't like when it was swelling. If you would hit other notes, it would not swell.
I get it. It wasn't perfect. I was able to break it a couple of times, but once I played around with it enough to figure out the interactivity between the swell knob itself and then how frequently I can hit notes without breaking it, it's definitely something I could work with musically. In a live context.
That's what's important. If you can work with it, I found that to be a little buggy personally, but that's nothing a firmware update couldn't fix.
Sure. Anyways, I had fun with it. I think I'm gonna have to go back to the Night Sky later tonight, though. There's just so many more buttons.
Yes.
This is exactly.
I want to do the Night Sky. I want to do the Night Sky with this the OB&E expression ramper.
I
feel like you could have a lot of fun with that.
Yes. I'm trying to think. I might actually have enough money to order one of those.
$69 or something.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to balance out in the back of my head a couple of other purchases that I need to make for Fox Cairo.
Mm-hmm. Make those purchases first.
Yeah. Well, the expression ramper is definitely an important part of research and development for my product.
Yes, this is true.
As was the Night Sky.
Yeah, I use the ramp on this more than I expected. I thought I would just use the bounce, but I've been using the ramping. That was fun.
No,
that was a demo I released yesterday.
I've been having so much fun watching all the content of people like playing with that. You did a good job with it, and then the Pedal Zone did an ambient feature where it's swelling in and out with some synth pads on the Enzo, I think. And that
would be really fun.
Yeah.
Shoot, I just like there's so many pedals that are on my board right now that I would really like to play with the expression ramper. Like I want to do the Chase Bliss Preamp Mark II, the Automaton.
Yep.
That's what I really want.
So here's a thought that I had. So there's the expression ramper, and a thought that I had is there's a company, it might have been Mission Audio that did it. There's a company that does basically like a router for expression pedal. So you can have one expression pedal and then like have it split route to like multiple pedals out, or you can have it control multiple pedals at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering how crazy you could get with it if you basically rerouted the expression ramper out to several pedals at the same time and just layered like the ramping of several things on top of each other throughout the chain.
Yeah, I think it would sound pretty woozy.
I could see woozy depending on, and I could also see depending on where like you put a delay in the chain that's controlled by an expression, ramping to like kind of up the repeats or whatever. Just that could create some fun cascading auto cascade effect. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard that when it's all the way down, it's like 20 minutes to bounce or ramp all the way up. Like
that's
they
insane.
Really make sure that it went way too far.
Yeah.
Because I remember turning it all the way down. Like, I think that's too slow for me.
Yeah.
In the video, but it was cool. It was cool after
I get really baked to be like, oh, it's coming back again.
Yeah. I mean, that's like you can do pads and stuff with the oh my gosh. Zoya with the Zoya. And I feel like if you were like doing some sort of thing and you would have that expression ramping over 20 minutes, Like, I feel like you could use that if you were using the Zoya to create some atmospheric background thing. Like, I know people who set these automatic things on the Zoya to just put on ambiance, create ambiance while they work. I'm like, that's smart. That's really smart.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot more of the ambient, just like finding ambient something on YouTube and just letting it play while I work.
Yeah. I'm kind of go between things. I've been doing podcasts, but I've been having trouble I've actually been listening to the Gear Slum a lot because I find that pretty fun to listen to while working.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of true crime and like stories kind of stuff. And it's not that it was a bummer. It was just like, there are a couple of really, really good ones and there are a lot of really, really bad ones. And then there are a lot that are fine, but have way too many ads. Like I think 15% of an episode content feels like ads on some of them.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Wondery podcasts.
There's definitely a balance to be had. I can't do, man. I have a hard time with true crime podcasts. I do it every once in a while. Every time I do, like inevitably, like I have a hard time falling asleep at night for like a week.
Oh yeah, that doesn't affect me anymore.
Yeah,
I've been just like watching Unsolved Mysteries since I was like 8, so I think I'm a little numb to it.
Like I fall asleep like hugging my little league baseball bat I keep next to my bed.
Listen, I sleep really well at night knowing that if somebody really wanted to come into my house and kill me, they would be able to do it. Like, if someone really wanted to do me in, I can't prevent that. I can be vigilant. I can, lock my doors. I can get a security system. I can take a lot of precautions to make it harder.
Right.
And I think I do make it hard for people to hurt me. But, if someone's really, really, really committed, they're going to find a way. Well, I also sleep really well at night knowing that, like, never mind. I don't want to get into that one.
Well, anyways.
It's going to sound dark.
Yeah, no, this got really dark. I was just trying to say that, like, I listen to ambient music for my anxiety.
I like to listen to hardcore when I work because it's almost just like a wall of sound. It's almost like musical white noise. Yeah. But that's what ambient music is too.
I go in phases where, like, if I just want to, there's a couple of instrumental, like, metalcore albums I listen to when I need to work and, like, get stuff done. It just have to be in the right mood for it though.
Yeah.
I go in phases
the band
with music.
Fucked Up and I listen to them when I work sometimes.
Yeah. There's nothing like getting email notifications and be like, let's play some music first, take a deep breath.
I like when I go upstairs to like cook lunch or prepare lunch, the first thing I do is I'm like, okay, I gotta find a podcast to listen to first. And the same with cleaning the house. There's like that meme where someone's like holding a broom or whatever and he's looking at his phone. It's like me trying to find a podcast to listen to before I start cleaning. That's me. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I do that too. If I need to do dishes, especially if I'm going to do that after this. We're done with this. So I let the dishes build up this week. Got to take care of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like 50-50 good about like actually putting the dishes and starting the dishwasher at night.
I ran the dishwasher. I'm running it right now with a cleaning. So we have to clean our dishwasher because it sucks. I really hate our dishwasher. I hate the appliances that this house came with. But at the same time, I don't think it's worth it to pony up.
So how do you clean it?
New ones.
Because I've tried cleaning a dishwasher before and it ended disastrously, but I want to hear how you clean it first.
Oh, I get a solution that sanitizes it basically, but you have to take you really have to clean around the drain, so you have to take out the bottom rack and get in there. It's a lot like cleaning out your dryer vent, which you should also be doing. Yeah, because I love you and your family and I don't want y'all to get
I did that recently by just taking apart the entire dryer and wiping it out.
Yeah, I had Rick do it and he was like, I don't want to do it, and then we realized that our dryer vent is literally this wide. Yeah, it like goes directly to the outside of the house. Yep. And so I'm like, oh, we actually could have cleaned that from the outside of the house. But yeah, they cleaned the tube and everything. It's like there was no buildup because there's no distance, so it all just comes out. So it's going to be a great sound for people listening to the podcast.
Right. No, so when Melissa and I first got married, she was out of town So I was like home alone all by myself. I'm like, yeah, man, gonna have fun, which really meant I just watched a ton of Netflix and did nothing. But
Yeah.
I did agree to do some of the deeper cleaning that needed to be done while she was out of town. And one of the things was cleaning out the dishwasher. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. We'll try this. This should work, right? And I just poured some bleach into it and shut the dishwasher.
No, holy.
It's ran it. And I remember sitting on the couch and I'm watching a cooking show. It was Anthony Bourdain. And like half an hour later, I'm just sitting there going, I don't feel good.
Do you know what you did to yourself? You just inhaled bleach fumes
for like 20 minutes. Yeah, so I went and stood outside, like on the.
You're lucky you're not dead. Because people kill themselves every year by mixing household cleaners that should not be mixed.
Yep. Yeah, so I opened all the windows, stopped the dishwasher, went and sat out, and then like hand wiped it out after I was feeling better.
Listeners, this explains so much about Andrew.
Yeah.
He's ruined his brain over the course of 20 minutes with bleach fumes. Dude.
My future was so promising. I'm glad you're alive.
Holy crap.
So
You almost widowed your poor wife, like right after you got married. Shit.
Yeah. Listeners, use Google.
Don't do that.
It's okay to ask Google for directions.
Yeah, Google doesn't judge.
Yep.
They don't.
Well.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm having trouble getting past that.
You want to know the upside is at least the dishwasher is really clean. But yeah, no, that was embarrassing.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm sorry. That's just, I can't. Okay. This week's episode of Get Offset is sponsored by Rude Tech Effects, based out of Nashville, Tennessee. Rude Tech Effects, right now, they are selling a couple pedals, including the 3 Muff 14. It's 3 Russian big muffs in one, green, black, and Civil War, and it has a litany of easy to use and excellent sounding tone controls, including a bypass option and an option to add more mids and an overdrive after the fuzz, that I find real. Like, I love just flipping up that toggle, getting that more open California sound. It's really, really nice. It's a handsome as hell pedal. It's based on Russian MiG jets, MiG. And I love this pedal a lot. And they're back ordered, but they're shipping pretty frequently, which
is good. We like it when they ship.
If you buy anything from Rude Tech, I also recommend the Ain't Afraid Fuzz and the Ain't Afraid Fuzz kit. Jesse is able to donate a kit to the Yeah Rock Camp in Middle Tennessee, where he teaches kids how to build pedals. He teaches them how to solder. It's a great program. And for everyone that you buy, he's able to donate one. And if you buy the assembled product, that also, the proceeds, a portion of the proceeds of that are donated back to Jessie Zazu from Those Darlings. She had died from cancer. And a portion of the proceeds go to her, the charity that's founded in her name. So it's a great product, and use the code GETOFFSET at checkout for free domestic shipping of any of Rude Tech's products and a discount on international shipping. That's GETOFFSET, no spaces. It also helps this podcast because it shows Jesse that you found us. You found him through us. Mm-hmm. So that's great. Also, I think Jesse was on the 40 Watt podcast lately, and that's a podcast by our friend and Patreon supporter, Philip Carter. Mm-hmm. I think I've been on it a couple times. I think I've been on that one.
Yeah.
Just once or twice. So that's a lot of good people, a lot of good humans. Let me just pull up the web address so I get it.
And while you're doing that, I just want to say there's something like really baller about like typing in a discount code. Like, oh yeah, I got a discount. Yeah.
It's rudetech.com. And the Ain't Afraid Fuzz is $75 for the kit, $130 for the assembled version. And then the 3 Muff 14 it's $230, but it's Listen, I'm not a fuzz person. I don't usually pay that much for fuzz, but I feel like this is very, very, very worth it. It's a very cool fuzz. Oh, and he sells an essential backline worker tee.
Aw.
Yeah, for $22. So check out Jesse. Check out rudetech.com. Use the discount code. Get offset for a discount. Oh, Lily Hyatt's one of his artists on his artist page. So is Daniel Pujols. Sorry, I actually know. Jordan Smith from Diarrhea Planet. I went to college with him.
Nice.
I was talking about him yesterday because I don't know if there are any Diarrhea Planet fans listening out there. But freshman year, Jordan always wore this purple hoodie, and his hair was like a cheetah or leopard print. I always get those two confused. And he wore that hoodie every day, and his hair was very distinctive. So people dressed up as him for Halloween, like more than one person.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry. I'm hung up on the name of that band.
Diarrhea Planet?
And like instead of like a gas giant, is it like a liquid giant? It's like that the classification of planet, or
oh man. I think they literally just picked the most ridiculous name they could think of.
Fair.
Knowing it would get them attention, and it worked. And they never said no to a gig, so they played a lot of gigs. And
with a name like that,
they wrote some really catchy
remember
songs. Yeah, they're not active right now, but they were always a fun band. It was always weird that they were the ones in our college who, like, in like our class, who like made it more than pretty much anybody else. Yeah, Belmont has a lot of superstars that came out of there, but Diarrhea Planet's the funniest name. For what?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, Brad Paisley's pretty cool. Florida Georgia Line is very famous.
I like how you said they're not cool. You just pivoted away from that.
I don't like Florida Georgia Line, and I don't think that would surprise anybody.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think they're all right.
I'm happy for them.
If it comes on,
I don't want to listen to them.
Like, I'm not going to turn off the radio if it comes on. I might even like roll my windows down and.
Rick's done some video work for them, and they were apparently very nice guys. So
sure.
I just don't want to listen to their music. Sorry, guys. I'm sure they'll be crying all the way to the bank. Oh, the little guitar podcaster doesn't want to listen to our music.
There's a lot of
we sleep at
there's
night.
a lot of musicians and
care.
artists who like I have respect for what they do. I don't want to listen to music though.
And yeah.
Sorry, I don't.
Yeah, that's fair. Fine and fair.
Well,
all right. Yeah, so Andrew picked the topic this week. I'm really proud of you, buddy.
I know. I actually had a thought this week while I was, deep into my work, and so I was watching an episode of Last Week Tonight, which is the late night show that John Oliver hosts on HBO. I admit that I'm a bit of a John Oliver fan.
Yeah, I always like him when I watch him, but I never really seek it out. I'm screwing my coffee lid back on. Sorry, everybody.
I usually like about 2/3 of his content, which for comedians is a high bar for me. I like his stuff. The episode he did this last week, I think, was exceptional in the sense of getting my wheels spinning in the back of my head. In particular terms with how it relates to this podcast and content creation in general. And so the episode that he ran was talking about ad spots on local news TV, which I promise this relates to what we do. So he's talking about ad spots, and the long and the short of it is it turns out it's really easy to get an ad spot on local TV. The ad spots on local TV aren't necessarily clear that they're ad spots. Usually that's just a little bit of fine print for like 2 seconds at the end of the bit, and you're like, wait, that was an ad? But if you're not paying attention, you're not paying attention. It's already, it's like the camera's panning and zooming out. And so they thought to themselves, well, what if we tried to put together an ad spot for something outlandish? And they did. And of course, other people have obviously put out ad spots for things that are completely outlandish. And they ran through kind of the history of a couple of different ad spots that have been done in local news channels. And they're like, hey, look, they've literally done a tour around the U.S. of local news channels for a product that isn't FDA approved, isn't actually worked. There's no science to it. It's basically just like a $5 thing that they've upcharged $800 kind of a thing. So they decided to try it themselves. And so they hired an actor, and the actor was paid to hawk a product on TV, give an interview about this blanket. And it was a sexual wellness blanket.
A sexual wellness blanket, they say. You've piqued my interest.
Right. And so the actress just complete, like, no joke, like straight face saying, oh yeah, well, this blanket use like magnetism and like some yada, yada, yada. And like to help promote, like, so if you like wear the blanket over yourself, and like it looks really, it doesn't look like it's a sexual wellness object in your home. So it's not something you have to be weird about. Like if your parents come over, and just kind of like giving the sales pitch on TV.
Like your weird, obvious pillow in the corner of your bedroom for your sexual wellness.
And
sorry, that was a bad joke.
I'm not answering that.
I'm not. I, for the record, for listeners, I mean the royal you, not Andrew specifically. That was a hypothetical you. That shit just got really awkward. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I meant one may have in their bedroom a weird pillow. God. Oh my God. Like I didn't even think about it like that. I'm so.
It's bound to happen when we're talking. They made it as awkward as possible, but the actress was like straight faced the entire time. And even dropping things like, oh, this isn't even new technology. This is technology that's pioneered by the Germans about 80 years ago. And, you know, of course, the local news anchors are not really thinking about the fact that that was literally Nazi Germany. And
yeah, what happened in Germany 80 years ago? So today it's 2020. We subtract 80. That's 1940s Germany.
1940s Germany, yeah.
Oh no, that's bad. That's bad.
And yeah, so I mean, the whole thing was just absolute nonsense. And knowing that it was all fake, I'm watching this like, I can't believe anyone would buy this. They did it on like 2 or 3 different local news stations. It only cost them like $2,000 to pay off the station to get the ad spot for the morning. And it basically all comes down to like there is a very questionable level of transparency with ad spots with local news. And arguably in general. And so I was thinking on that, I'm like, okay, well, what does that look like in our industry? Because it's a common thing that YouTube creators in particular get accused of is being disingenuous, not being clear and upfront about what their ad spots are and when they've been sent a product, when they've been paid to do something. And I kind of wanted to take that context of that in the back of my head, and I want to fire that back your direction. What does that look like as a content creator who is paid to do some of this, who receives product for some of this, who partners with other companies to put together content to promote their product, but also balancing that with being a content creator who wants to serve your listeners, who wants to create educational, informative content to help educate potential consumers. And so what does that look like?
Yeah, but first I think it's important to talk about the differences and to talk a little bit about news publications that do things called advertorial. Typically advertorial would be like in a magazine like 17 magazine. A clothing brand might buy a full 2-page spread for advertorial content where it would look like it was editorialized. It would be like putting together an outfit of the day or something, but it would be sponsored and paid for by like The Gap. So that's an extremely common thing. And they just needed to have like a little one line like, hey, this content was sponsored by so-and-so. And even the news, you said they didn't have to have more than like a little tidbit about this product that they obviously knew literally nothing about. And for the record, it's extremely easy, apparently, to game local news television because they really need things to talk about that are interesting or uplifting in any kind of way. So it's a lot easier to trick your way onto local news. There was this comedian who had this whole shtick where his idea was like he was a yo-yo guy and he would go into schools and like talk about how yo-yos got him off drugs. And then he would just be like hilariously bad at yo-yos and hilariously bad at talking. He did this like 10 to 20 times. It was like his thing. And it was amazing. So per what you're talking about, John Oliver, I don't think it's like the same thing per se.
Right.
I think it's a lot harder to have an extremely shitty fake product. I don't think it's possible really to have a fake product. Gear demoers like myself and especially bigger channels, they get constant like phishing attempts. So we're all very aware and vigilant about doing our own research typically before like agreeing to do anything, because we're afraid that what's going to happen to like Stevie T, who got locked out of his own YouTube channel, or this happened to other gear demoers where someone takes over their YouTube account. So we're very worried about that.
Yeah.
So that part of it, probably not going to happen. I've been approached by like smaller brands. I've done demos that I filmed and then went back and said, I can't release this because it wasn't a good product. And then I just took the fee as basically a consulting fee. So that's a little different. Some of us are, I wouldn't say we're as desperate for content, because most of us aren't putting things out multiple times a day, like local news is, or a magazine every month with like 120 pages in it. Like it varies based on like who you are and what your channel is. You have people like Ryan Burke who try to put out content 5 days a week. You have people like me, like I try to put out content 4 days. Sometimes I don't do it. I'm probably going to release less content next week because I'm a little tired. So like, let's get that right before.
Yeah, no, the dynamic is definitely different. And my understanding loosely here is that the laws applying to how transparent you have to be about it are very different for cable television as opposed to Instagram and YouTube. And for Instagram and YouTube, there's a couple of safeguards in there that are built in. And I'm not sure if that's by law or if that's just because the platform is trying to protect itself and its users.
It's regulations. It's communications regulations, certainly. I think it's the FCC. But yeah, so there are rules, especially about influencers. And by influencers, like these...
I see that all the time.
Which is actually something you don't have to do. You don't have to say when it's not an ad.
Right.
Which is hilarious because I tend to, say a lot more when I've purchased something. But those rules were made for people like Kim Kardashian and those kinds of influencers who would tout like diet supplements.
Yep.
Or makeup brands and other things like that for money. And then they weren't disclosing that actually this was an ad. Mm-hmm. So that's who those rules exist for. Those are the people those rules exist for. You're supposed to say when you got a product in kind, when you got paid to post about it. If you ever mention it again, just like on your own, even, you're supposed to say that. So like technically, if you want to abide by those rules, every video, regardless of whether or not I purchased the thing that I'm specifically demoing, I'm supposed to check that this was a paid promotion box, because you see other things, gift, bought, gift, like gift, bought, gift. No, bought.
Yeah.
Bought. So every video I do is sponsored, like even though that's not what I'm showcasing.
Sounds like a really weird CAPTCHA, like, are you a bot kind of scenario.
Bot. But. It's like the spam thing from Monty Python. Yeah, so really, those rules weren't made for, like, gear demoers. They weren't. It's not a matter of, like, I don't know. I think it's pretty innocuous to just check the box and just say, I was sent this in exchange for a demo, but the thoughts are my own. I don't think it's a big deal. I think that people are making a big deal out of it when it's not, and it's kind of tiring, frankly.
Sure.
Yeah, like I talked about this with a lot of other demo people, and ultimately what it seems to have done, and there's a reason that big, like in the blues video, they had to turn off comments because people were making assumptions about other channels and calling them out. And they were like, because you have to realize when you're creating content like that, that feels almost pointed, because it felt defensive to me. Parts of it, obviously not all of it was. I don't think that was the intent. I think it was, they were perhaps trying to educate, but it came off as defensive. And so people are, if you're defensive, your fans and supporters are going to be like, who are you defending yourself from? Who do I need to also protect you from?
Right.
So that's kind of, it turned into this big thing that I don't think it ever should have been, because it's really such a non-issue. And ultimately, I think that the idea that if you get something for free, you are more likely to sugarcoat it. I say all the time, it's hard to lie in what I do. One, I don't have a great poker face, but even if I did, I mean, I'm not, unless you're plugging things in through different things, or like if you say you're using a Benson amp when you're using a Milkman amp, which are both great amps, like unless you're lying about like how you're creating it or what you're doing in post, or that you're even using the gear that you say that you're using, people have ears.
Right.
And just listen to it. And if you like it, if you like the features, because I'm not going to lie about the features. Like, how can I lie? I don't know.
Sure.
You've opened a weird can of worms I don't think you were prepared to open at 10 a.m. on a Saturday.
No, I was prepared. I completely understand the frustration from the perspective of a content creator and agree with a lot of that. But I also don't want to downplay from a consumer standpoint that, especially since not all brands do their own demos and they're outsourcing the demos to content creators. That means that, and a lot of a lot of these products aren't things you can find in your local music store. And so the idea here is, in order to try something out before you buy it, you and or other creators are the only ones that are bridging that gap there. So in that sense, there is a responsibility for content creators to do a good job, and consumers naturally might not be willing to give the benefit of the doubt that it's completely honest, especially when you're talking about something that is like $200, $300, $400, especially when the consumer thinks it's $20 in a case of parts.
Yeah. So $20 in parts. Yeah.
Some people feel like they're being sold to. Some people feel like they're being pushed a little bit. And some people feel like it might be disingenuous. And none of that could be substantiated by any sort of empirical data. It just, maybe that's where they're coming from. And so in the back of my head, like as I was watching the John Oliver episode, my thought was, well, what are the safeguards and how do we reassure people other than telling them you're dumb? Like, how do we reassure our listeners and listeners of other content channels that what they're getting is legitimately, like, even if it's paid for, is honest. It's not dolled up. It's not. What are ways that can be done? What are ways that it's currently being done? Is there anything that needs to change? Say with YouTube requires you to check the box for this is a partner. This is partner content. I think Instagram has to do the same thing. So that's kind of more the direction I'm thinking.
Yeah. So to that, all I can say really is, if you don't trust me, then there's something I can tell you that's going to make you trust me. And that's kind of where I sit on it. Like, I'm telling you the guitar I'm using. I'm telling you the amp modeler I'm using. Usually it's a Strymon Iridium. If I change things, I verbalize the difference. I always have the pedal next to me so you can see exactly how changes are affecting things. I don't do a lot of post-production at tops. I normalize the audio to level it out a little bit, especially if it was like my fault. That it pretty much only if it was my fault that the volume changed that much. Right. I'll adjust it. I put a limiter on my voice and compress my voice so it's even when I'm farther away from the microphone, or when I'm close, because I move around. I turn my head and I talk over here sometimes. I talk down there at the pedal. I talk over here. So my voice kind of travels a little bit.
Sure.
But like, other than just like telling people this is what I'm using, this is my signal chain, blah, 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 blah. Like, if you don't trust me, then you don't trust me. If you think I'm lying, if you don't think I'm honest, if you think I'm, a shill, if you think I'm like just pretending to like something, I can't change your mind. And I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But my trustworthiness is really my most valuable currency. So it doesn't super duper behoove me to lie when I'm getting paid $100 to do a pedal demo.
Sure.
Like, I'm not. Why would I tank everything I have for any pedal or anything like that? Like, if I work with a brand and they don't like my demo and they never send me anything else, that's fine.
Right. So, yeah. So I'm going to press a little bit here. So let's say I, as a viewer, feel like I would like to know if you, as the content creator, were paid for the video, paid given the equipment, whether it be a pedal, guitar, amp, etc. What if it would be helpful for me to know that? How do I know whether or not that content?
I check a box. So when you open my video, it says this contains paid promotion. It's usually in the description. Sometimes it's in the description. I just check the box.
Yep.
And that's all I do. And some people don't check the box, but like, if you're looking at these channels, just assume that they got sent the stuff for free, especially if they have more than like a couple thousand subs.
Right.
At this point, they're probably not buying their own stuff constantly. And if they're good, they're not buying their own stuff, because if they're good, people are wanting to send them stuff.
Right.
So on the other hand, like if you have 5,000 subscribers and you're still buying like almost every pedal or thing that you demo, why
Sure.
why aren't brand? I'm like curious about like, why aren't brand? Is this like a personal decision you've made? Because that seems really expensive for something that I know how much money you end up getting out of like ads, and it doesn't pay for the
I
pedals.
don't judge how people spend their trust funds. All right.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But like, I think, I don't know. I get kind of curious when people have like huge audiences and they can't, like, they don't have relationships with brands. Like, brands should be tripping over themselves to do demos with these people that have like 20,000 subscribers. Like,
right. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, there's so many reasons for brands to want to lean into that, and the value that content creators bring, especially in this market, is huge. So
yeah, and I guess another thing I would ask people who say that, like, if you're getting paid, you're a shill. Like, why do you think that people are inherently dishonest like that?
It's capitalism.
Like, do you really think that if you got paid, like, let's say like your job pays you, mm-hmm. do you never talk shit about your job? Do you never talk shit about your boss who pays you? Do you just always say that the products that your company creates are the best products in the world, like, blindly? Probably not. Like, you probably don't like wax poetic about your job. So why do you think that I would lie if this is my job?
Well, because people do, though.
Salespeople do. I'm not a salesperson.
Well, and so I wonder if that's where there's a little bit of because you and I both know that you're not a salesperson. Your job is not to sell anyone anything. You just create the content and let people decide for themselves.
It makes me happy when people buy things, though.
Exactly. And so you and I both have come at this platform from an ethos of wanting to promote consumer literacy, consumer informativeness, wanting to make sure that people mm-hmm. know what's really going on. That's where you and I come from this. So not all content creators do necessarily. And the kind of that aroma of salesmanship can come across, especially for folks who maybe don't spend a lot of time viewing videos. I've got a friend who's recently started to play around with some pedals and stuff. They don't know a whole lot about all of this. They don't know where to begin. They don't know what forums they should go to. They don't know what YouTube channels they should be checking out. And so, like, for them as a bass player, referred to them over to Juan Alderede's content for playing with pedals, because who does that better? And
Hondo. Just kidding. Juan's great, but so is Hondo.
They're both great. so even they've been like, okay, well, I've seen a couple of things that like, how do I know this is actually going to work for me? Is this just salesmanship? And so those are also some of the questions that come through for the uninitiated. And I think that's a totally normal thing to ask. A lot of people don't.
Sure, but I think it goes back to like my trustworthiness is really all I have. If I lose trustworthiness because people are like, oh man, Emily keeps demoing these really shitty pedals and just like talk and they sound bad while she's doing it. And she's like, oh God, like, oh, this sounds so good when it obviously sounds bad. Doesn't help me.
I'm less worried.
I know, but that's what I'm saying because that's what people act like. They act like.
I think that's what commenters on YouTube act like, and I don't think that's necessarily the bulk of the people that are actually watching.
Well, no, most people who are watching trust me because why else would they be watching other than because they hate me?
Right. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening.
I think there's enough people that have that in the back of their mind, kind of inherent distrust, given the system that we're all working and operating in, given that there's people who have been disingenuous in the past with some of their marketing techniques, maybe some of their salesmanship. I'm thinking brands that I probably shouldn't name right now, but we
should not name those brands, but yeah,
there are instances.
They are trying to sell things.
Right.
And for the brand you're talking about, like, what that brand lied about was whether or not they made the product or they rebranded the product. And the lie that they didn't claim that it sounded good when it sounded bad. Like they didn't make a claim about the sound or the functionality that was a lie. And that's all I'm demonstrating is the sound and the functionality.
Right.
95% of the time. So that's not even where the lie was.
Yeah. No, I agree. I guess even thinking in terms of like a consumer who's relatively new to this and isn't in depth and kind of their ideas of how trustworthy online content creators should be is maybe influenced by other industries where there might be, you know, like the Kardashians, as you mentioned before, where it's this is a paid ad spot and it's not necessarily as clear. And
yeah, things like weight loss supplements, that's really a big one.
Right. So yeah. My question to dig a little bit deeper, it's the last real question I've got here is, so there is checking the box, which I think is really helpful for consumers to know when things are paid content. I think that level of transparency is great. And I would encourage all content creators to continue using that if they're not already doing so.
If they want to, I don't really care. I don't care what other people do.
I care a little bit. I think that level of transparency is really helpful. I think it.
But like, I'm sorry. These rules weren't made for product demonstrators.
Yeah,
they weren't. That's the thing. That's not what the rules were made for. So because like these Kardashian types and these Instagram butt models and whatever, like because there were concerns with them posting things that were ads and them not disclosing it when they were literally ads. If I'm demonstrating a product, it is not an ad. I am not advertising this product. I am not truly doing anything other than I'm helping them with their marketing a little, but I'm creating content for my channel, not for their channel. Like I just don't. I don't think it's an ad.
You and I agree on this.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right. I get that we agree on that. But if you're asking what people can know, it's not an ad.
Right.
It's not an ad. And that's kind of where it lands. Is it an ad? Maybe. Sometimes I'm sure it is. But like what Anne Silikowski does, using pedals to create art and then showing how she uses these pedals to create this art, that's not an ad. That's art.
Sure.
And also the box isn't even FCC compliant.
Oh, really?
So like you check the box, it literally doesn't even mean anything. It's not compliant. You have to actually say in the beginning of the video, or I always forget, so I say at the end of the video, that you were sent that in exchange for a demo.
Gotcha.
So yeah. It's not even compliant.
So to be FCC compliant, you've got to then verbally say that and not just have it in writing or have a box checked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's
You
good
have
to
to
know.
verbally say it. And in a couple of places, apparently, they're like, say it. The more you say it, the more compliant it is, or whatever. Because, like, well, if you only put it in the beginning of your video and someone comes in at the end of your video and they miss it, then they miss it. And I'm like, well, it's not really my fault if they fast forward to the first part of the video or if they turn off the video before the end.
Right.
Why is that my fault?
Well,
I just think like I think
that's the dynamic that local news stations are kind of making on when they put the this is an ad right at the end as people are all getting up to go take their potty break. But
yeah. So because other people do shady stuff, people then assume that, gear demoers are shady. And it's a bummer, but also I can't control how people feel about me or what they think about me or what I do. So I don't think
you can control that. But I guess in the back of my head, the things that are tumbling around is more of a, how do we go the extra mile there to try and build that trust up front for the uninitiated, for someone who might inherently be distrusting despite any sort of empirical evidence to back up their paranoia. What are ways to go the extra mile for that? And so, I mean, saying it.
Why would I go an extra? Oh God, sorry. Just like, why would I go an extra mile for that?
I don't know.
Why? Why do I have to do more work because someone's inherently distrustful? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I am transparent. I'm as transparent as I can be. Like, I feel like I do my due diligence to be transparent. And I'm not going to do more than I do unless I'm legally required to, because I don't feel like it adds anything. I think it's like the more you tell somebody, you can trust me, you can trust me, you can trust me, the more I'm fair. Like, I'm not sure I can trust you.
Sure.
Like the more work you do to try to build someone's trust when they're like not asking for it. Mm-hmm. So like there may be a couple people who ask for it, who want it, but for the most part, people are they know to use their ears. They know how this works. They know that if I paid for everything I ever demoed, then they just wouldn't get as much content and I'd be bankrupt. But if I'm just like, you can trust me just constantly, that's shade. That feels shadier to me. Like I am honest. I know who I am. I have faith in myself, and I know myself. I try to convey that.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's like, you don't like me, you don't like me. Mm-hmm. If you don't trust me, you don't trust me.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're that distrustful, that you think that I'm lying for like $5 a day.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm sure that's not the answer you wanted.
For just $5 a day, you too can lie to consumers.
You too can sponsor a YouTuber. So like, what do you think though? Because you haven't said what you think. I feel like you think I should be doing more to make people feel better about what I do.
So I want to clarify. I'm not saying you in particular, and I know that you do a good job.
Like I wasn't saying you earlier about the pillow.
Yes. So you're gonna get me so thrown. So I want to clarify. I'm not saying you in particular here. I'm thinking more in the broader term of content creators, aggregators, et cetera, kind of just this larger grouping of content creation in the social media world. And I think in the spirit of the consumer is sometimes right. And knowing that there's enough consumers making a ruckus about this enough to where you're clearly very upset with it. I've also been upset with it because I feel very similarly in terms of like, guys, shut up. Listen.
I just think it's way, it's blown. It's not even that I'm not upset. I just think it's blown out of proportion. I feel like it's like the idea of this could have been an email instead of a meeting.
So, I definitely agree with that. And with all of that said, though, the back of my head, the proclivity that I have to want to go above and beyond in any given situation, it wonders if it's either a slippery slope or if it's just a couple more steps would kind of just get everyone to shut up and call it a day. Because as much as I think,
it won't though. People are always going to bitch about something.
Well,
people, like the people who are never going to trust me or us as demoers. Like, again, there's something I can do.
Maybe not everybody, but maybe taking the number and tamping it down to a dull roar instead of is this a paid demo?
It is a dull roar.
Are you lying to me?
It's really not a big deal. It's really not. It's like it's not that doesn't happen very often.
Sure.
It doesn't happen very often to me. It doesn't happen to anybody like I really know. It's like Ryan Burke, who has a huge channel. It happens sometimes, and you know it happens a lot more after people put out videos like this. Like we're talking about this, and that's why when you proposed it, I was a little bit like,
people are gonna think we're lying.
No, it's just it's already a non-issue. Like there aren't a lot of people who think that I'm full of shit constantly. Like I don't often get that comment. Right. I get more comments about like my tits than I get about me being a shill. And I don't get a lot of comments about my tits, thankfully. Sure. Please do not comment about my tits.
Or the pillow. Legitimately, I don't even know what pillow you're talking about because I'm such a good Christian boy. I don't want to know.
Just Google sex pillow and call it a day.
I will not on my home network, or my public network or my work network, or really at all.
Just open an incognito browser and type sex pillow into Google.
That works.
Yeah, it is.
Internet provider can still see it. Jesus can still see it in incognito, okay?
Do you want me to just like...
No, stop. With that, this episode needs to end now.
I'm sorry. Oh, jeez.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you for being patient with me badgering you on this.
I know that you were just trying to play the, I don't want to say devil's advocate, the contrarian.
I don't think it was even devil's advocate or contrarian, just more of if I ask these questions, it helps explain things a little bit better and gives a bit more context to how things work. And I think you did a great job explaining that.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I did a whole other video about it too.
Yeah, I know.
Well, so like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on iTunes.
Yep.
Don't tell us your favorite brand of sex pillow. We don't care. Oh my God. I can't believe I did that. That was so stupid. This is a guitar podcast.
Podcast.
What else? Please check out our affiliate links for Sweetwater and Reverb and DistroKid. Those really help keep this podcast and YouTube channel going. We have merch at getoffsetpodcast.com/shop, including our very popular right now For Fuzz's Sake shirt, which I assume is because Ryan Burke wore one in a video recently. What else? What else do people need to know about how to support us? Patreon.com/getoffset.
Patreon would be great. We've got some more people in the chat. It's fun. We've had some wild shenanigans. I honestly, at this point, that's going to be the best place to reach me at all. I just deleted Facebook from my phone. I'll log in like every couple of days. I haven't logged in like 2 days. And
you have to support us at the $5 or above level to be a part of the Discord. So please do that. We appreciate it so much. It goes a long way. And it will help me go a long way to Summer NAMM.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, that's about it. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for understanding. Until next time, my name is Emily.
And my name is Andrew.
Goodbye.
Bye.